Today I'm taking you into the creation process of my new painting series, from the first stroke on the paper to deep into the messy middle where it's all about getting marks down and working quickly. Come on into my studio and see how this series starts to come to life. Last time I shared all about gathering inspiration and preparing my paper for this series, and now it's time to paint. But first, a little studio organization. My studio space is pretty small. It's just a corner in my kitchen dining room area. So when I have larger paintings to work on, I have to do a bit of rearranging to make space for them. Scraping on loose, abstract background colors is my favorite way to start a painting. I'm not really worrying about anything but having fun, and the gesso texture basically does all the magic for me. I like to play around with different zones of color on my paper, so some areas here I'm keeping more golden yellow, and other areas I'm making more peachy pink. And mixing glazing medium into my acrylics really helps with this. It helps them scrape thin and kind of helps the colors be more transparent. Now that all my background colors are done, it's time to sketch. I'm really happy with how the sketches turned out, and I came up with 3 different colorways: a green, a turquoise, and then a peachy yellow color. And I just had a lot of fun creating whatever the paper wanted to give me as I was scraping on colors. And there's just so many beautiful sweepy, swoopy textures and marks. I tried to stay really loose and just fluid and fast with my sketches because I want this collection to have kind of a informal, loose, hazy, soft look to it. I don't want it to be kind of a tighter style. I'd like it to be very loose and expressive. So that's what I was trying to get with the sketches. And also I made all 12 of them in 2 days, in 2 kind of sessions. And I just tried to paint them as quickly as I could to kind of get my ideas out. In addition to the bouquets, I also wanted to do some birds. So I have 2 sets of birds. I hope you can see him okay here. So I have 2 sets of ones that are kind of pairs, so they're facing each other. So this guy is looking this way, and then there's another one that is complementing it, and they're looking at each other. I really enjoy working in sort of complementary sets or diptychs of paintings that you can hang together. You have that option of hanging them together, or you can just buy one separately and they can both be enjoyed on their own. I have done that quite a bit in my paper paintings, and I just really like that flexibility, that sort of ability to have the two paintings talking together, especially since in decorating there's often kind of symmetrical pairs often when you're hanging art or having lamps or things like that. So I like to think about people who like to decorate that way too. I'm really drawn to using kind of bold, vibrant colors in my backgrounds, probably because I just love bright colors, but also even if a lot of the yellow gets covered up, this bright, beautiful golden color will still be kind of showing through in between my brush strokes in some areas. And I like that playfulness and that sense of the layering and of what came before in the painting, and just little playful hints in between. So maybe this will end up being like a white vase, but maybe along the edge, a little yellow will show through. I don't try to plan out all of that stuff. I just kind of see what arises in the painting and work off of what I like that's happening and colors that I'm liking. And so we'll see how much of these background colors make it to the final stage. Okay, it's time for a midpoint check-in, and I've basically got color onto about half of my paintings, but I wanted to share with you how it's going and what I'm really excited about. So these are two that I have on my desk right now. I've got this one. It is obviously doesn't have color on everything, but I'm really, really loving just the almost the patchwork feeling of how the brush strokes are kind of broken up and are allowing that background color to come through. I'm getting a feel for what I want sort of the vibe and the message of this collection to be. And it's really just me embracing the imperfection of my brush strokes. So if you look at this one, it's just, there's a lot of haziness, softness, just working in a way that feels very loose to me. I generally, or at least my natural way of painting that I would have been much more like a couple years ago, would have been much tighter than this, not letting go, not just sort of being okay with imperfection. But the trajectory of my painting style, I think, is much more now trying to embrace the surface imperfections of the painting, the imperfections in the brush strokes. And I think that's what makes us connect to artists and their art, is being able to see that person's personality, that person's humanity in their line quality, in their brush strokes. These are things I'm thinking about. I'm just having like a joyous time. I think it's because it's the springtime. My garden is blooming. I'm outside planting seeds. I am painting flowers. I'm looking at beautiful books, and I just am really having a fun time. So let me show you a couple more. I've got this one. So you can see the little foo dog made it in. I, again, am just kind of trying to explore with how unfinished, which is a funny way of me thinking about it, but how loose I'm gonna leave this. Like I said, a couple years ago, I probably would go in and try to tighten things up a bunch. And now I'm really just loving the unfinished, the rougher, the more, I don't know, emotional sense that I'm getting from the way this is looking. Now, this is not finished. There are a lot of things. There's more like values and depth and layers still to build up, but the general kind of vibe and personality, I am loving. The one thing that I am having a little bit of trouble with really is working on this yellow background actually is kind of throwing me off. I generally paint with warmer colors, like a lot of warm colors in my flowers. And even in my leaves, I like to use warm greens. And so this yellow is kind of throwing me off. And I was thinking, I wonder what it would be like to actually go over like the outer portions of this background and block in something completely different. So I might try that. I'm a little bit nervous, but that's what it's about, right? Is trying and experimenting. And yeah, but I love nasturtiums. So I'm having a lot of fun painting nasturtiums and kind of figuring those out. Here's another one with this warm background. And again, I haven't figured out, like I'm kind of struggling with what color to make the fruit. So they're this weird kind of brown color right now because I've layered a bunch of things. But one other thing, one kind of takeaway is that painting on this gessoed paper really allows for change and revision so much more than just plain paper, because I'm not painting on the actual fibers of the paper anymore. I'm painting on a layer of gesso. And because the gesso I use is acrylic gesso, it has kind of like a plastic base to it, an acrylic base. And so if I make a mistake and the paint is still wet, I can just grab a wet paper towel and just wipe it straight off, which you can't do with just, the actual fiber of the paper there. And so I'm really having, well, maybe not fun, but I'm really, really thankful for that, because I can, try something. And if I don't like it, I can quick rub it and scrub it off. So that's just a tip for you. If you, want to have that freedom to kind of wipe away things instead of waiting for it to dry and then painting over it. That's something that I'm really loving about this gessoed paper. But yes, let's see here. Where's another one? I'm having fun with some little still life objects like these pairs of scissors, the little like garden snips, the fruit. I'm even bringing in like a little bird on the table in some of them. So I'm just really having fun and playing and just trying to find happy color and value contrast and balance in these. But again, like I'm probably gonna leave these scissors just the way they are. Part of my mind is saying, no, that's too simple. That's not perfected enough. But I guess that's the heart of what I'm trying to get at is imperfection, the beauty of imperfection, and embracing that, because that's actually what I'm really drawn to in art, is like seeing that imperfection in other artists' paintings. And I want more of that in my paintings. Okay, I am gonna leave it at that. I can't wait to share with you how they turn out in the next video. So if you are enjoying this process and learning or feeling inspired, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And feel free even to share my channel or share some of these videos, maybe one of my tutorials, with a creative friend. I would really appreciate that. All right, I will see you in the next video. And until then, happy painting. Bye.